Welcome to the last lecture of this course on sustainable strategic management. The topic we are discussing today is sustainability in the ICT industry and the role that ICT industry can play in order to develop sustainable solutions. So we are basically looking at two perspectives of this problem. First of all, the first one, green ICT, is basically what is happening in this industry, what kind of technological changes are happening that are driving improvement from a sustainability perspective, and also what ICT can offer for sustainability. This means what are the opportunities in the market for the ICT industry to develop sustainable solutions, sustainable products, and sustainable services. Let's start from the topic of green ICT. Why we discuss ICT as an industry? Of course, because ICT is one of the industries that is growing constantly over time. So if you analyze recent data, you can see that IT overall has basically shown a growth in average of about 4% every year. So this is an industry that is growing and therefore can play a role in the sustainability discussion. Now, what are the specific impacts, sustainability impacts of the ICT sector? There are a number. Of course, the first one, the main one, is related to the use of energy. In fact, the energy used in production is one of the key areas of environmental impact. Manufacturing high-tech products requires a huge amount of energy, and we will show some data later on. Also, energy is used for running these devices, so there is not only an impact that is driven in the production phase of the life cycle, but there is also an impact that is made when the products are used. Another relevant impact is connected to the use of chemicals in the production of ICT products, and also the problem of recycling and managing wastes coming from this industry. Also, ICT companies have global manufacturing approaches. This means that the impact of logistics is very relevant, so carbon emissions associated to logistics are very relevant and need to be examined in this context. And then the problem of labor practices. Most of the ICT companies manufacture in developing countries, and often this is linked to labor problems and basically problems with local communities. Let's analyze some data. Here in this slide, you can see the amount of energy that is recasted for producing and using a number of products. What you can see, what it emerges from this picture, is the fact that manufacturing, for example, the DRAM chips, is very energy intensive. So the energy that is requested to produce the product is almost the double that the energy that is used for running and using the products. Another aspect that is important to note that typically ICT products have a very short life cycle, so this is a problem. ICT products basically absorb a lot of energy in a very short time period of life. So the ICT sector, as we said, uses a lot of energy, and this is basically confirmed by looking at data coming from a number of countries. Here in this slide, I have reported the case of United States, where if you analyze the energy that is used for the utilization of computers, printers, copiers, faxes, and network devices in US offices, in 2000, this was accounting for 2% of the national electricity use. If you extend this to 15 types of devices, including televisions, computers, telephone, and audio equipments in US homes, in 2002, this accounted for 4% of the national electricity use. This means that overall, this industry in the United States, the use of these devices accounts for 6% of the electricity usage in the United States. So a very relevant impact of the industry. The industry has also an impact in terms of the use of chemicals. Often high-tech products present small components of very bad chemicals. These, of course, create an environmental impact when these products achieve the end of the life and go to landfills or need to be recycled. It's interesting to note that the problem of managing ICT wastes is a massive problem. There are some interesting examples of cities that emerged around the world, particularly in developing countries, where all wastes coming from the electronic sectors are collected, and there local people work to disassemble the components and recover materials and that are then taken by recycling industries and used later on by other industries for the production and the manufacturing of new products. Now, this business of disassembly and collection of electronic wastes is impressive and is very dangerous, because the local people are working in extreme conditions and are exposed to very bad chemicals. So I want to show you now a video that is related to a city in China that is well known for being the largest e-waste site in the world, with over 60,000 people being involved in this kind of activity. So I believe you found the video very interesting, and it's interesting because this is substantially really a black market that is running in parallel with the ICT industry. It's also interesting to note another impact of the sector that is related to the transportation of components and products around the world. This means logistics used by companies in the ICT industry to move components for manufacturing and to move products to customers. Here in the slide, I extrapolated a sentence that is available on the HP website. HP is a company that is well known for being seriously engaged with sustainability, and in their section of the website where they present and discuss their logistics activity, they say, I'm quoting, "We estimate that transporting HPS products creates roughly 2 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions a year, which exceeds the emissions related to operating our facilities." Now, this data is impressive, is remarkable. This means the impact originated by logistics is even higher than the impact originated by managing the various facilities of the corporate. So this is an area where corporates can really engage in order to develop new processes, new solutions, adopt new technologies to reduce these impacts. How basically companies, the ICT industry in general, can engage in this sustainability journey in order to become more sustainable. First of all, an emphasis should be on products, and by trying to improve the sustainability of the products offered. This means reducing the energy that is used in the production and the energy that is necessary for running and using the products, increasing the recycling component of products, and also reducing the materials that are used and the chemicals in the products. It's also very important that the impacts, the environmental performance of products is properly assessed. Today there are a number of technologies to do that. The most common methodology is based on what is called the LCA studies. This means life cycle assessment studies, where all the impacts generated during the life cycle of the product are evaluated, and also eco-labels. This means specific certifications that assess the environmental performance of products based on different criteria. For example, based on the energetic performance, based on the materials that are used for making the product, based on different sustainability perspectives. Also, the ICT industry needs to evolve the manufacturing approach in a more sustainable way. This means, as we discussed previously in other classes, to rethink the manufacturing model, to rethink the supply chain activities, and also to develop more responsible labor practices. It's also important that the ICT industry engages with measurement and reporting activities so as to become a more transparent industry. This probably will cause the most companies operating in the ICT industry to really change their business models. And as we discussed in previous classes, there are a number of business models that companies can implement today to improve the sustainability of their industrial systems. What is important to note is that the market is today able to understand the value of sustainability. So, for example, easily you can find rankings of ICT companies based on environmental criteria. This means that the market values sustainability, and therefore this is going to be, of course, is going to be a driver for companies in this industry to engage more with this topic. Now, let's analyze the other perspective of the problem. This means how the industry can contribute to develop products and solutions for solving sustainability and for managing sustainability at the corporate level. Substantially is plenty of opportunities, and today many companies operating in the ICT industry are developing new products and new services that are linked to sustainability issues. And I'm now going to show you some examples. IBM is a company that really was the first mover in this context. They developed a completely new business unit that is offering a portfolio of solutions for what they call a smarter planet. This means they developed a number of software solutions and measurement systems to measure sustainability data in a business environment and to analyze sustainability data. I'm now going to show you a video where an executive of IBM introduces this new portfolio of solutions. So the case of IBM was an interesting one. There are others. We mentioned in one of the previous classes Bloomberg. Basically, since the interest in the financial industry to evaluate and assess companies based on their sustainability performance, today in the financial industry there is a call for data. This is, of course, an opportunity for companies working in the IT industry. And Bloomberg was the first mover in this context by developing a module part of their platform that is called ESG data, environmental, social and governance data, where they present performance indicators related to sustainability for large companies worldwide. Together with Bloomberg, there are a number of companies that are growing in the market, that are offering similar services. Of course, it's very important to, while using this data, it's very important to understand how these performance indicators have been defined. This is particularly important, especially if you wanted to carry out a benchmarking analysis. Another example is SAP. SAP is a well-known provider of enterprise resource planning solutions. A number of years ago, they developed a specific module for addressing, for managing sustainability data. And it's interesting because this is a very comprehensive module that allows that allows the control and the analysis of different sustainability problems, including carbon emissions, energy consumption, quality of products, sustainability in the supply chain, and IT related data. So again, this is an example of how a market opportunity pushes the development of new products and solutions. Another interesting example is Google. Google has been one of the first movers in the development of cloud-based solutions. And basically, one of the key advantages that Google markets of these solutions is the environmental sustainability of the cloud. In particular, corporates that use the cloud, the cloud instead of having data servers in-house, can save up to 70% of their energy consumption. Here I'm going to present you a video that shows what kind of technologies Google is implementing in its data centers in order to run them in a very energy efficient way. So this was a very interesting video. I am sure you have been impressed by viewing the complexity and the size of Google data centers. Let's move forward now. Another case, the case of Apple. Apple has engaged significantly in the last years with sustainability. They really pushed on the sustainability of their products, particularly in terms of the energy you need to run the products and the energy that is used for producing the products. All Apple products are today certified by Energy Star, which is an eco label specifically analyzing energy consumption issues. And also Apple does a very clear disclosure on how the technology is improving over time, how they are investing on the technology, and how the new products perform better than the old products in terms of energy consumption. The last case I wanted to present is an interesting case. Is the example of a solution that was developed in Helsinki, where basically a company had the problem of running servers. Servers require cooling. Cooling calls for energy. So basically, they identified the foundations of a cathedral as a very fresh area. So they basically located the servers inside the foundations, the basement of a cathedral, and the heating that is generated by the servers is used for heating houses that are located nearby the cathedral. So this is an example of basically developing a very smart solution for managing the problem of servers.